How's it going, guys? How's it going, guys? Hope you all are doing great. This is E-Vlog coming to you live, and welcome back on another chapter on Black Clover episode 288. Now, to quickly touch base on the previous reading, Nehat finds himself in a hot spot. Nehat was taking on this two devils of the highest order, these two Akumas of the highest order. And Nehat was getting his ass handed to him. All his abilities, everything Nehat is trying to do wasn't working. He was pretty at his low point at this point. And the two Akumas that he was fighting, they were laughing at him, making fun of him, making jokes with him, and they decided to, since Nehat couldn't put up a good fight, they decided that they are bored and they wanted to take out Nehat. As one of them was about to reach Nehat to grab his throat, right? To grab his throat, to choke him or to kill him or whatnot. In that moment, Asta comes in with his anti-magic sword and cuts one of them, and one of the Akuma looks at her hand and says, "What's this? It's severed." And Asta says, "It's anti-magic. What do you think you are doing to our vice captain?" And chapter 287 ended right there. So let's move on to chapter 288. So, Black Clover, chapter 288, signs of new reinforcements. And at this point, he went ahead after all. Really? He rushes more than anyone else. Black Clover, chapter 288, exposure. And we see Asta right here, standing before these two Akuma of the highest order, these two beings that Nehat could not do anything against. And one of them, of course, her hand has been severed by Asta, because anything Nehat tried to do, his attacks wasn't working, and I guess he needed Asta's anti-magic sword in order to deliver a good solid blow. So Asta is standing in front of Nehat, and Nehat looks literally beat up. He's bleeding. And the next thing we hear is one of Nehat's Akuma, because you guys know Nehat bonded himself with a good number of Akumas, remember? And one of them says, Nehat, it's been, I am begging you, Nehat, if you die, we won't be safe too. So the Akuma, Gimidilo, the Akuma Gimidilo is begging Nehat that if he dies, that they will not be safe, right? So he's trying to Gimidilo. He's trying to tell Nehat to stay in there, not try not to die now, hang in there. And Nehat says it's ridiculously late, but now we gathered all the needed cards. However, I don't matter. Hurry and defeat the dark tribes. It seems that Nehat is now talking to Asta at this point. However, I don't matter. Hurry up and defeat the dark tribes. And Asta grabs his sword once again and says to Nehat, no, you do matter. I became stronger thanks to you. Asta is giving Nehat the recognition that he deserved. No, you do matter. I became stronger thanks to you. And Asta says, I want you to live and see that strength. I want you to live and see that strength. And Nehat's eyes lit up at this point because Asta just, is really, really talking to him at this point and really touching his feelings. And Nehat looks at Asta because Nehat is looking at Asta's behind right now. He's looking at him and he says, I might have been waiting. Indeed, he is a good man. But it's a lot different for a new morning to arrive. With a smile on his face, and Asta says, a minute passed already. I need to defeat them immediately since I can only maintain the unite for only for 5 minutes. Okay, so at this point, Asta is saying that, oh my goodness, I better get the job done real quick because you guys know his union with Libe can only last for 5 minutes. Okay, it can only last for five minutes. And one of the Akuma of the highest order, the one that got her hand severed by Asta, looks looks at her hand and says, for the hundreds of years in the underworld, I never experienced a fun thing like this. These guys, even though these two highest order Akuma, one of them, the one that got her hand severed, looks at it, smiles, and says, for the hundreds of years in the underworld, I never experienced a fun thing like this. With a smile on her face. And she says, Kiki, 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 I never thought we would meet in this world. And Libe says, Kiki, 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 Kiki. Libe recognizes, probably recognizes who they are. And he smiles, Kiki, Kiki, Kiki. I never thought we would meet in this world. Highest ranking devils, Lilith and Naamah. See, Libe is able to recognize who they are. Libe recognizes these two Akuma of the highest order and calls their name Lilith, Lilith, and Naamah. Entertain and the two highest Akuma of the ranking order, Lilith and Naamah, says, "Entertain us more." And Asta dashes towards them, swings his sword, and there is a huge air, there's a huge energy, like some type of a tornado going everywhere. And Nehat is literally on his knees because he can't do anything. He's just watching this fight go down. Asta goes towards the other Akuma to swing his sword. Asta manages to swing his sword, but for some reason, there is so many energy going, there is so many stuff going on here. And Nehat says, their body disappeared. Asta swings his sword, and it looks like Asta missed them, and Nehat says their body disappeared. And the Akuma says, swinging, swinging, swinging around the sword. Will it hit? Will it hit? They're kind of making fun of Asta at this point, and Asta continues to swing his sword, and the two Akuma, Lilith and Naamah, they don't even have to get close to Asta to attack him. They uses their magic or whatever they're doing that shoots some type of energy, and they shoot it. They shot it towards Asta, and Asta is using his Akuma to dodge him. And the Lilith and Naamah says, which one will hit first? Which one will hit first? Can we kill? Can we kill? It's like they're talking in sequence. And it looks like they're sisters. You know, Lilith and Naamah, they must be sisters. They talk in sequence. Like they've been with each other for so long that when they talk, one finishes each other's sentence. Probably they're twins as well, you know? One finishes each other's sentence. And then we see Asta with his wings, and Asta grabs his sword and says, the third sword. And we see a leaf, right? A leaf at the edge of his sword. And something else is happening here. Asta grabs it, raises it up, and says, Demon Destroyer. Asta raises his sword up and says, Demon Destroyer. Now, Asta, at this point, he has Demon Dweller on his right hand, and he raises the other one up, the short sword, and calls out Demon Destroyer. And while he's doing that, these two Akuma of the highest ranking order, Lilith and Naamah, have closed in on him. And when Asta says Demon Destroyer, the two Akuma says, huh? And the next thing is Asta uses the long sword and swings it and cuts Lilith, swings it and cuts her into two. Like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that ends chapter 288. A single slash that destroyers that destroyers the and then we are left with a cliffhanger. So chapter 288 left us with a cliffhanger at this point because I'm not sure if these two Akumas are going to go down easy, but what we do know is towards the end of chapter 88, Asta cuts or slashes through one of the highest ranking order Akuma, and the narrator says this a single slash that destroys the narrator did not finish the sentence there, and we are now left with a cliffhanger. So on the next chapter, we will get to see what happens between Asta versus these two Akumas, because that demon destroyer sword is such a deadly ass sword that I look forward to see what Asta is going to do with it, with as well as the devil destroyer, and the devil's dweller. You know, we're going to see what he's going to do with it. And I think on the next chapter, I probably will not do live stream. I may just record it and then post it, because from chapter to chapter, it's quite short. You know? It's quite short at this point. We didn't get a lot out of this chapter, but we don't. But what we do have with this chapter is the fact that Asta was able to uh, deliver a deadly blow on one of the high-ranking order Akuma, either Lilith or Naamah. We don't know which one, and I'm not sure if this attack will even do anything, because if Dante has the ability to regenerate himself when he suffers damage or when he gets attacked, Yurusasho knows that these two high-ranking Akuma probably has the ability to do the same. So that sword, yeah, it would do damage, but is it the be all end all at this point? That I do not know. We will find that on the next chapter. And on the next chapter, I think I'm just gonna record it and then upload it. So feel free to let me know what you guys think about this chapter, man. You know, I wish we got more out of it, but they decided to leave us with a cliffhanger. So, on that note, guys, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me right now. Otherwise, feel free to leave your comments on the comment section when this stream is done and let me know what you guys think. But you rest assured know that the fight is not over till it's over. I would like to see how strong Noile has gotten. And Noile is looking to fight Vanica. You know, the only reason why she came here is to fight Vanica once again. And I'm not sure if at this point, if Charlotte can even do anything to Vanica at this point, which is the reason why I'm looking at Noile to see if how strong she's gotten, and if her new ability, or if she now has new ability, will it be able to suffice fighting Vanica? On the other hand, we know that Zeno, both Vanica, Dante, and Zeno are now at their full max power. They are now at 100 effing percent. Okay, they are 100% right now. How will Yuno and Langris fight Dante? No, how will Yuno and Langris fight Zeno? You know, what are they going to do? Because whatever they've done before, I'm not sure if it's going to work on Zeno at this point. And for Jack, we saw that Jack can no longer even stand on his 2 feet, really. He has wheeled himself up to fight Dante. What will he do against Dante at this point? Nehat has been taken down, and Nehat can barely stand on his 2 feet. He's bleeding everywhere. You know, he is fatigued. What else is going to happen? you know. So I look forward to see what's going to happen next with these guys. And the next person I'm also looking forward to see what they can be able to do is Meriliane, you know, because she's been training. And how are they going to rescue Yami and William Vengeance? Because Maurice, the doctor, is still taking care of business. He is still guarding that portal, right? All right, guys. On that note, the app that I use doesn't even have the chapter out yet. Well, Victor C says I would appreciate it if you look up. All right, guys. I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to sign off here. So thank you guys for joining me. You guys have been great. You guys are wonderful. Continue to stay safe, stay classy, and stay tuned on